I know you're super keen to get your hands dirty. I am too. And while it's tempting just to rush ahead and whack a plant in the earth and give gardening a go, taking the time to plan your veggie patch will give you the best chance of success. So in this module, we're going to take a deep dive into the world of garden design. And I'm going to equip you with some great design tools like goal statements, maps, a site summary, and bubble diagrams to get you thinking creatively and strategically about your veggie patch. In this lesson, we'll launch right into our veggie garden design process and plot a path to the food garden of your dreams. Now let's start at the very beginning and take a walk through the stages of the design process together. Whether you live on several acres or are designing a courtyard garden, stage one is always observation. Go out into your space, walk around and try to experience everything as if it's for the very first time. Is one place hot or cold? What grows where? And what's your favourite spot? Do some places simply feel good or not great? Don't forget the outside forces like neighbouring buildings casting shadows, or maybe you can feel a cool ocean breeze. What can you smell, see and feel? Take a long, quiet walk exploring all the nooks and crannies of your space. Write, draw or photograph your first impressions. It doesn't have to be professional, just scribble it down. If you want, pause this lesson and do it now, or if you're comfy, head out later when this lesson is done. You'll take a deep dive into the rest of the veggie garden design process over this module, but let's take a sneak peek at stages 2 to 6 now. Stage 2 is about people. Who is this garden for? This is where you'll learn how to set your goals for your garden and determine whether they're realistic or what you really want. Without goals, it's way too easy to get lost or make grand plans you may never achieve. In stage 3, you will map the landscape to better understand place. You'll learn how to collect information about your landscape, things like shade, sunlight, climate, and their relationship to buildings or permanent structures like fences and telegraph poles. It's about getting a sense of your space and all its elements. Later, this will help you make a heap of excellent decisions, like choosing what plants suit your particular site or figuring out where paths and beds go, depending on how you need to move through the space. Then you put everything you discovered into a summary map, which consolidates all your research and reveals the potential of the land. In stage 4, we're going to have some fun designing your initial concept design by making a bubble diagram, a technique that helps you decide what goes where. It's way easier to figure out the best spot for your veggie garden on paper rather than dragging garden beds around your patch. You'll document all your discoveries and ideas in your veggie garden planner as you go. The last stage in your design process is interaction, and that extends well beyond the end of this course. Even while you're building and growing your garden, you'll keep observing, noticing and tweaking. Is that plant shading the others? Do I need access to water here? Gardens are always evolving. Embrace the change. Before we dive in, think about the boundary of the area you want to map and design. Whether your space is big or small, you'll want to divide it into zones. And just to be clear, we're not talking about climate or hardiness zones. We use the 6 permaculture zones to help us organise what goes where, with the guiding principle being to place what you need most often nearest to the hub of your property, which is usually your house. So, what are your different zones? Usually they'll radiate out from your home. So if you look at a garden design, you'll see zone 0 is the hub of your property. It's where you prepare food, sleep, and basically take shelter. But if you're designing something like a community garden, zone 0 might be the shed or tables where everyone hangs out when they're not gardening. Zone 1 is the area immediately around zone 0. You're most likely to move through this area many times during the day to get to your bike, take coffee breaks. This might be your kitchen garden containing the herbs that you pick most days, and perhaps where you'll have your most used veggies growing. Zone 2 areas are just a bit further away, maybe where you dry your laundry or have barbecues with friends. You use Zone 2 areas for fruit trees or plants you need less often, maybe once a day. You could even keep chickens or ducks here if you have the space. Zones 3 to 5 are usually more dedicated to community, farming, productive forests and wild areas. If you're curious, see the resources in this lesson for how you can use zones in design. But during this organic vegetable gardening course, we'll focus on zones 1 and 2. So how do you know which zone to put your veggie garden beds, animals or structures like garden sheds in? Ask yourself, how often do we need to use this thing? Things like herbs or eggs need to be collected daily, so keep these close by. But fruit trees that produce fruit only once a year might be further away. And what are its yields and functions? Does it give you food or shade or a place to spend time with loved ones? How often do we need to maintain this thing? Remember, animals and veggie seedlings need daily care, so keeping them close is a good idea. So that's zones in a nutshell, but there really is no right or wrong. It's all about how you want to use your space. Where are your zones 1 and 2? Let this guide your design process. So now you've had an introduction to the garden design process. Together, we've looked at each stage: observation, people, place, initial concept design, and interaction. And you know how to group your garden or space's elements according to different zones, depending on how much love each element needs and its yield and functions. In the next lesson, you're going to set some garden goals. Don't forget, if you're stuck on something, please ask away in the comments below.